And we're back, guys. Tennis in a Minute. I'm your host, Skid Energy, the hardest working man in the tennis business. WTA Finals Cancun. I don't know, guys. 2 years in a row. This is starting to become tough, very difficult to deal with here. I mean, Dickies Arena last year, guys. I mean, in the middle of Texas, nowhere. That was brutal. I mean, who is organizing these WTA finals? Is it some young college person, fresh out of college that doesn't have experience with this? I mean, I understand there has to be some type of budget they're trying to stay within. But I mean, listen, Dickies Arena, it's a beautiful arena. But I mean, come on, guys, in the middle of Texas on a school week, we're gonna have the finals here in the USA. That's horrible. All the kids are in school, during the weekday. It's like, how are parents going to organize? And for the people traveling, how do you make arrangements to get there after, an announcement literally following the U.S. Open? It's crazy. And now we take a look at Cancun. We're here in the literally the tourist area, where if you're in Cancun, I mean, the reality here is you're in a beautiful, some type of resort where everything's all inclusive. You have free food and free drinks. You have private jacuzzis on your balcony. You have a private beach, literally, that you have access to 24 hours. Do you really want to sit in a brand new constructed arena where the seats are hurting your back, it's raining every hour, and pay for overpriced food when you have free gourmet food in your 5-star resort? Listen, we have to plan this stuff out here. You don't go to Cancun to watch tennis, and unless you're me. But the reality here is, listen, guys, we have to do better with the WTA Tour. Now, Iga, it breaks my heart hearing Iga beg on national TV for fans to come watch her matches. It's tough. Now, I brought this conversation up last year. Is the tour in trouble? Do we have stars that... Listen, you guys remember 2 years ago at the French Open. Look, I've been covering this stuff. A lot of new subscribers, right? I've had a lot of new people subscribe to the channel. Show some love, like the videos. But all this stuff, I've talked about all this stuff. I have 5,000 videos. I've talked about the good, the bad. It's my job to report on tennis, whether you like it or not. I don't give a you-know-what, okay? You come here... Show love or not, doesn't matter. Just listen to the channel, because I've talked about this a couple years ago where the organizers for the Roland Garros, they felt Iga wasn't a marketable star. She didn't have any, yes, French Open champion, did not have any prime time matches. Yes, quote, this is a fact. Doesn't feel she was marketable enough for that time slot. These are the problems the tour is facing. And I talked about this. I had people say, well, Serena wasn't always a big star. Listen, guys, Serena was always a big star when she burst on the scene. Venus burst on the scene at 14 years old, winning tournaments at 14, beating former number one players. Okay? Venus and Serena were big time. They, take a look at some of the younger players today, like the Favortova sisters. Take a look at Brenda, who's 16. She got a lot of hype. Okay, Linda got a lot of hype. Look at Mira Andreeva. She got a lot of hype. Okay, that's how Venus was when she was young, 14, 15. She was getting hype. ESPN was a network that was, just getting popular, and they were dedicating their time to Venus Williams. She was all over ESPN. So, I mean, they literally took the tennis world by storm in the 90s, and they never looked back. They were huge stars, Look at what they did for American tennis. We're spoiled here. Now we have Coco, who's got big shoes to fill, and I think she's doing a good job at only 19, right? If you don't think Coco's doing a good job making 2 Grand Slam finals, 2 WTA finals, and singles doubles, the first American to do that in over a decade. She has all these records. She's beat, over 20 current and former top 10 players. She owns the head-to-head against most of the top 10 players on tour, most of the players here at the finals, except for Iga. I mean, she's amazing. I think the tour has the stars. I mean, me personally, I think if Coco were number one, I think the sport would be a lot bigger. Just being number one has a big title. I don't know if Arena Sabalenka is that marketable. I don't. Maybe if she were, I mean, and this sounds a little wild, but maybe if she were doing some of her crazy antics like she used to, maybe that would draw more fans in. But I mean, her being, the Zen master and relaxed, I don't know if that's going to be great for a number one spot, because that's not what people are used to seeing when they watch Sabalenka. I mean, I remember Sabalenka would snap, break a boom microphone, smash her racket, yell, at the chair umpire or coach. But I think Iga was, I mean, the tour officials at the Rolling Girls said they didn't feel she was marketable for that time slot. I think, and I've said this in the past, you don't become a big star in tennis unless you win the U.S. Open. You saw what happened to Emma Raducanu. Leylah Fernandez was the runner-up, and she became a huge star. Coco's she was already big, but she's got, every time I turn on the TV, Coco has a new endorsement. But in terms of Iga being number one for 75 weeks, I felt Iga was a good number one. I mean, there was a lot of controversy early on and during her reign. A lot of people did not like her. I'm telling you guys, a lot of people did not like Iga. And, me supporting her videos, look, I got a lot of heat for that too, supporting her, and then I started covering the stories that people want to hear, and people were happy because she had a lot of haters. But the reality is, I think Iga was a good number one, and Sabalenka says her goal is to end the season at number one. So she's going to play hard. Right now in this match, she's playing really hard. And Elena Rybakina, listen, here's, I think, another problem the tour is going to be faced with. Not only are they dealing with females, right, women, they're dealing with professional athletes that are the best in their field. Yes, women. So there's a little bit of diva in these ladies. Now, of all these ladies, in terms of diva-licious, I definitely think Rybakina is up there. And trust me, when she's done with tennis, she's going to have a tell-all book. I already know. She's been saying all season long, she wants to talk about things. She's unhappy, but there's going to be a time and a place for that. And right now, Rybakina, to me, looks like she doesn't want to play. She just looks like she's not in the mood to be here. It's cold. It's windy. We're seeing the diva. Now, we all know Iga's got a little bit of diva in her, or big diva in her. I heard behind the scenes, Pegula's a huge diva. We all know Sabalenka's a diva. She doesn't have her way. She'll break a racket in a heartbeat. She'll break a boom microphone in a heartbeat. But I think of all the ladies here, the more down-to-earth ladies are probably Coco. I mean, you just started hearing Coco complain. She just finally had enough. Washington, D.C. was her coming out party. She said, look, enough is enough. I'm not holding nothing back anymore. So Coco's starting to, now she's a Grand Slam. She's starting to become a little bit, she's a mini diva. But I think the three most down to ladies here are Coco, Zachary, and Ons Jabeur. I mean, Ons Jabeur is just, you have to love Ons Jabeur. She's the sweetest person on tour. Such a huge philanthropist. And Zachary is just like, Zachary's like whatever. Look, just whatever. Zachary has that whatever type of style. So I don't see a diva in Zachary. No, not at all. But this is what the tour is challenged with. They're organizing these finals for these ladies here. I think they got to do a little better. Like I said, you got someone that's probably fresh out of college, organize these events, trying to hit a budget, when the reality here is, the tour is profitable. And I mean, we're in a new age where, look, a decade or two ago, YouTube wasn't as popular. If you still wanted to see your favorite artist, you had to go buy a concert ticket. If you wanted to see your favorite athlete, you had to go buy a sports ticket. Now, you could watch this stuff on your phone. You can watch it on TV. And to have some of these prices, I think they could do a better job with pricing these events. Like, for example, I work with some of the biggest organizations in this country in terms of marketing. And the reality here is, if you have an event that's not selling, you got to lower the prices, And I do think the prices are overpriced, especially when you're in a resort area where there's so many things to do, that this demographic is this Cancun. No one's watching tennis in Cancun, just like I felt at the Dickies Arena in the middle of Texas. Like, that's football nation. You're bringing, like, no one's watching tennis in those types of areas. So, I mean, Guadalajara is like, 2-hour plane ride from Cancun. Those are your tennis fans. I felt when the finals was held there, you had good crowds. And I talked to a lot of Mexicans this week from Guadalajara, and they mentioned, look, we love tennis there. That's a big tennis. They love Zachary there. So Cancun, it's a miss. Without a doubt, it's a miss. They literally had to construct this arena here. It's, in case you guys don't know, It's literally in the Marriott, where like it's what, like a 3-star hotel, maybe, I don't know, maybe even a 3.5, 4-star hotel. Ticket prices, it's the Marriott. Ticket prices aren't that expensive. The arena's right in front of the Marriott hotel. That's where they built this arena here, in front of the Marriott, and they're gonna just take it down. No, it's not acceptable. Now, what about China? We had the elite trophy in China, and we all know China has the money. They're going to put up the money. They want to do it big. China used to do it big with these events, with these finals. They used to do it big indoor. Me personally, I think when you're playing for something prestigious, a fifth major, if you will, a lot of money up for grabs. There's so much money up for grabs. I think it needs to be indoor. I mean, I love the format of trying to rotate it outdoors in different countries, but Iga might have a point. We need to have it in one central location. People can plan and organize for it. I feel bad for Iga begging constantly at all of these events, especially when she was number one, begging fans to come out. That's not her job. Her job is to show up, be the best she can be, and play. Her job is not to beg fans to come out. The marketing department, you guys need to get with one of, in my opinion, you need to get with one of these casinos, one of these large betting casinos, and you need to have them sponsor this event, bring it to Las Vegas, and get it on. Because Novak already talked about this. You have these large casinos that are making money and with partnerships with the WTA and the ATP, and the players aren't getting into that money. They're already making deals behind the scene. And the reality here is, if they're already making millions and sponsoring the tour, giving them millions, they need to pay for these finals events. Put it in Las Vegas. You're not going to have an issue with the tourists there. There's millions of people and tourists in Vegas at any given time. That will sell out in Vegas, okay? Because you can literally make the tickets cheap there, or you can even make them expensive. It doesn't matter. The tourists are going to come there. They're going to buy it because it's a sports town, right? It's a tourist and it's a sports town. So that's really what you need to do. Get with one of these large casinos or betting factories, have them sponsor the finals, and just forget about it. Have it there, like Iga said, for 3 years or somewhere. I don't think it necessarily needs to be overseas because, again, it's like your biggest stars, Coco, Pegula, your biggest events are here in the USA. Miami, right? Indian Wells, US Open. US Open by far is the biggest major. Right. Most people do the doors, the biggest stage, the US Open. You don't even have to have it in Vegas. Bring it in New York. You could bring it, do it indoors at freaking Madison Square Garden or something. The Barclays Center. There's different, I wouldn't necessarily bring it back to Flushings, but you could do it. You could even do it in Long Island. There's a lot of places you can have these finals, but I mean, you're trying to be exotic here in the middle of October, November, where it's storm season. It's literally hurricane season. It's going to be raining all the time. It's a miss. And back to the match here. Rybakina here, guys. I just feel she doesn't want to be there. She's not playing. So we're not, and that's another thing. We're not getting the best out of these players with these abhorrent conditions. We are not. These conditions are horrible. I think the finals, I think it needs to be indoors. You need the players playing their best. You can't have the elements because you never... Look at that match between Muguruza and Kontaveit, right? I covered that a few years ago, a couple of years ago, whatever now, 2 years ago, right? The win. So Kontaveit played most of her matches during the day. And at night, we all know the ball carries horrible at night. She had to literally make in-match adjustments where Muguruza was playing at night. She had a chance to warm up at night to the conditions. She beat her as nearly a 3-1 underdog. So the conditions have to be equal for each player. And when we're talking about the conditions here at the finals, these players can't even get in a good practice. Not only is it raining, but they're all sharing the same practice court. Unacceptable. Whoever wins this tournament is not like we can even say, I don't know, they won it fair and square. Is it an equal playing field? Players can't get equal practice time in. Yes, they do have indoor courts at the facilities. They're staying at the 5-star facilities there. We all know that. But You want to practice where you're going to be playing, similar conditions. Practicing indoor, playing outdoor, it's not the same. And I think Rybakina is fed up. She's not playing her best tennis because I don't think she wants to be here. It's raining. They have to start and stop. It's ridiculous. What do you guys think? I'm rambling on. I'm going to wrap up the video, but nonetheless, Rybakina, she's getting blown out right now. The match is going to resume tomorrow at 3:30. Rybakina is going to have time to rest, recover, and she's got a good coach. They'll come back with a game plan, and we'll see if she can win the second set. Tennis in a minute. Comment below. Show some love. We'll be right back.